Hey, what is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Yui. You already know, another video, another banger episode, boys. In today's episode, I've got a sneaky, juicy NDA balance playtest patch that is actually dropping out tomorrow, guys. Today is, what day is it today? Today is October 12th. It is going out tomorrow, October the 13th, boys. It will just be in effect right after the reset. So all these changes are going to come up, and I've got everything that we need to kind of go over here for the video, and all the changes that are going to happen for this next quote unquote patch. And the reason why I know this is because actually I was in one of the Albion Online streams, and they mentioned that this is going live. And I think, I don't know if they were supposed to say that, but anyways, guys.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget, Bogle, we also have that patch coming out tomorrow.
Planned.
Soon.
Planned.
Soon.
Oh boy.
We're gonna get a quick peek in. That way you guys can buy the new tools, the new weapons, and maybe make a little bit of bank right before the patch comes live here. So what we've got here is arcane staffs. Obviously, arcane staffs, especially the Locust, is mainly used for ZVZ. So their rationale is saying that, you know, Melville Locust, it purges, it cleanses. They're talking about this E here. And so what they've done is they've actually removed the purge out of the E. Okay, so that is one of the biggest change, and that is actually a huge change, which, you know, what they're hoping for is to open up for other weapons in the game, like the one-handed arcane, or even the new curse staff that I'll show you guys in a little bit here. And the second change here is going to be the motivating cleanse, which is on all arcane staffs. So its max affected targets 5 to 10, which is actually huge. That's double, especially in ZVZ scenarios. That's huge. So this is the W here. It cleanses up to 10 people, and the E, which, you know, the range is the same. Everything is the same. All it doesn't do is purges. No more purges on the E, which is a huge change. And guys, just so you guys know, I am on the test server, and that's how I'm able to show you guys these new changes here. So let's look at the next change here, guys. Next change we're looking at is the crossbow. So this is the explosive mine. So it's talking about the weeping repeater. Now this is a huge buff on the weeping repeaters. I remember when it was a huge thing back in the day in the ZVZs. Weeping repeaters were nasty, and I think they're going to become nasty again. This is a 50 damage boost, and on AoE escalation, this is insane. So we're going to see a lot more weeping repeaters. If you're trying to make a quick buck or two, make sure you're buying weeping repeaters before this patch comes out. That way you can maximize. So, I mean, I'm not going to show you guys this on the test server because it's just a damage update. Not much to show there. If we scroll down here, we got curse staffs. Lots of changes here. This is for the enfeeble blades in the life curse staff. This weapon was barely ever played. I'll show you guys what it looks like right now. So this is, again, I'm on the test server. So here's the life curse staff. I'm just gonna, it doesn't even matter about this is what it looks like. It looks pretty sick, to be honest. And one of my favorite looking curse staffs, I would say, this one and the curse staff. But anywho, they changed a lot on this E, and this E was super useless. You had to cast it on yourself or cast it on another player. But now they've made it to be able to cast it on a ground. So you don't even need to, you know, cast it on anybody. And what they've done is they've actually made it a channel, and each time it hits the player, it purges. So this is what they're trying to do, is they took out the purge from the Locust and brought in this curse staff, which was completely useless, and brought it to kind of reality into gameplay, where you're going to see a lot more of these curse staffs come into play. So if you're a crafter, make sure you're crafting these because they're going to be in hot demand. Again, this is not a damage weapon. So if we look at the patch notes, let me just go ahead and open it here, guys. Ability can now be cast at the ground and doesn't require an ally to target anymore. So we've already covered that. And now you can, you know, put it on the ground area instead. It is now channeled ability, and the blade area lasts for the channel duration. I don't really like that it's a channel ability, but I think it would be too OP if it's just an instant cast. So I'm all good with that. At least it's uninterruptible, which is huge. Enfeeble blades now keep purging enemy buff on every hit. Like, that is the biggest thing. I could see this now becoming, you know, possibly a 2v2 weapon if I can lower the cooldown. Could potentially use it as a 2v2 weapon. I don't. You might see this as well in 20v20s, but to be honest, probably the one-hand arcane staff is way better still. Okay, let's keep going here. Cast range, they've increased it to 15 meters. Okay, that's cool. Cast time, 0.6 seconds. That's pretty small. Area radius is decreased. I don't know why they would do that. I don't think the extra meter could have made this a little bit better. The duration, 4 seconds. Again, they probably could have left it at 5 seconds. That 1 second wouldn't have made the biggest difference as well. Damage debuff per stack, 5% to 4%. Again, this is not a major damage weapon. If I just pop this back up here, it's doing 131 magic damage every half a second, and I think it's up for like 4 seconds. So it's not crazy damage. Not like the Weeping, for example. But that is essentially the new curse staff here. Channeled ability, super cool. We'll see how it goes. It's going to change some ZVZ stuff, maybe some small scale, probably not, but mostly on the ZVZ side. Okay, so next up we've got daggers. Obviously they're talking about the black hands, but they haven't changed it. It's not going to go live yet, so we don't need to cover this because they might change some things about it. So let me go ahead and skip over this. Fire staffs, guys. This is exciting news. Wildfire staff has been struggling to find valuable spot in group compositions. Its core mechanic means that it's not very suitable for small scale fights, while in large scale combat it's outshone by other DPS options. To give it a specific DPS sub-role that is specific suited to punishing the enemy frontline, the burning effect will now ignore armor and deal 3.75% of the player's max health per tick. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. This will make it more desirable against tanks, heavily armored players, and this fits the ability design better as the rolling magma sphere is quite difficult to land on enemy backline, but much better suitable to punish overextended frontline. I totally agree with them, and I think that's a great change. So if we look here, this is just a fix, I believe, a bug fix, so we're going to ignore the searing flame here. But if we look at the magma sphere, which is the wildfire staff E, you can see the projectile speed has almost doubled, right? That's huge because it was super slow. That's crazy. The cast speed has decreased, which is insane. And the damage was also increased. And as well, obviously, the 3.75% target health. Like, that is huge. And I can see this used in a lot of areas. I can see this coming back to ZVZs. I'm thinking of even figuring something out for a 2v2. Like this is insane. Like with a mist collar, I can get this down all the way to 24 seconds. Like that is crazy, guys. And look at the damage, 1175 magic damage plus the 3.75% target max health damage. Like that is insane. And look how fast this is. You don't even need any cooldown reduction. Not cooldown reduction, but you don't need any of the cast speed reduction. It's insane fast. Let me go ahead and reset that real quick. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. I can't wait to see this in a lot of the new metas. Oh man, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. Okay, let's go back to the NDA test here. Next thing we've got is obviously our hammers. So a couple changes here. Iron Breaker resistance reduction from 0.14 to 0.12. Kind of, it's not that big of a nerf. Damage versus players, this is huge, and I believe they did this because of the Corrupteds, with everybody going with the Tomb Hammer. Power Geyser increased by 2 seconds. This was obviously a huge power play for a lot of the Hellgate metas, the Crystal League, bopping or geysering, if that's even a word. All the Grey Holy E's from healers, from enemy healers. But here's the bigger change, and I mean, it's not that crazy of a change. Great Hammer, it decreased by, I guess that's 20.25 of a second. Again, not the craziest, but obviously it is a bit of a nerf. So we'll see what happens there in the meta shifts. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and go check out the Holy Staffs. So healers in Albion offer a very strong sustain, meaning they have tools to prevent their group members from simply being burst down in group fights. As a result, healers are usually designed without a lot of damage in their kit, and are thus encouraged to use their Q slot either in full sustain or additional damage. However, there is also the option to go full sustain and get damage from the other sources such as potions, capes, or armors. To balance this approach, base damage output has been reduced when equipping any healing staff. Healers can negate this penalty by using damage ability on the Q slot. So guys, a little bit of background. This is because all the corrupted dungeon players who went healing, they were basically a little bit too strong because they could heal themselves significantly and use poisons and mage cows to get their damage off. And so what they're trying to promote here is, instead of excessive healing on their Qs, now they can use it as an actual damage weapon. And so what they've done here is equipping a holy staff reduces all damage output by 50%. But if you put smite on, your damage is increased by 50% for 8 seconds. So they kind of buffed it and nerfed it in a way if you're going to use smite, right? Flash heal cooldown to 3 seconds. That's actually a really bad nerf. Cast time decreased, hit delay, even the heal increased significantly actually. So that's actually insane. That's great. Remove the additional 10% healing per target effect. Yeah, okay. Holy explosion, that's the great holy energy cost per tick. You know, that is actually significant, guys, especially when you look at Hellgates and healers getting out of energy quick. Like, this is actually going to make them go out of energy even faster. Now, I'm thinking now we might see more nature staffs come in the 2v2 meta, possibly. Well, 5v5, there's already nature staffs in there. But we'll see what the change-ups happen in the next coming weeks. Celestial Sphere, Redemption Staff, the cast is now uninterruptible. I think that should have been a must from the beginning. That's awesome. That's great to see. The Hollow Fall cooldown reduction when healing an ally is increased by another 5%. That's huge. That's great to see. Hollow Fall obviously went down significantly, and more Great Holy users. So maybe now we'll see more Hollow Fall plays. We'll have to see. So the next change, guys, let's just jump over to maces. Maces have been out of the Crystal League 5v5 meta for a while now, so to give it a potential unique tank role, Guard Rune has received an overhaul to make allies immune to knockbacks and stun. That is huge. That is awesome to see, guys. This could be used to support caster backline like Holy, Frostfire, protecting them from... I mean, they're talking a lot about the 5v5, but to be honest, guys, I could even see this being used for ZVZs. Like, that's huge. You can't be stunned in this Guard Rune. You can't be, you're basically immune to any knockbacks. That's crazy, guys. That's amazing. So if we look at Sacred Ground, all maces, cast time decreased, and enemy inside the area are now slowed by 20%. That's already a crazy number, 20% just from the Sacred Ground. Like, that's crazy to see. Guard Rune, again, we just read that. That is insane. Remove the healing increase bonus. I kind of like that because it was kind of like a small Judy. So they took away the healing increase. It is what it is. But, I do like the immune to forced movement and stun. Like, that's a nice change. It would be way too strong if it had healing increase, resistance, and immune to forced movement stun. Like, that's a crazy combo. I can think of so many different combos to play all together on that. Battle How, Heavy Mace. This is a major, major buff, guys. Cooldown 20 seconds to 15 seconds. Like, this is going to come back to all the metas, guys. Like, I can even see this in ZVZs, even though the range is not that crazy. Like, I can still see this in ZVZs because the cooldown is so small. So I can see this back in 5v5 meta for sure, 20v20 for sure. Like, look at this, 15 second. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, obviously I have a lot of CDR, but like, that is insane amount of silences. 15 seconds, that is huge, guys. And if you stick an omelet to that, you can probably get that down to 10 seconds if you have refreshing sprint. Forget the assassin hood, but that's a crazy, crazy buff. So guys, if you're trying to make a quick buck, make sure you're buying these maces. They're definitely going to come back for sure. All right, let's go back, guys, and check out the rest of the changes here. We've got nature staff changes, spear changes, swords, shoes, where you don't need to go over the mount. So we've got a few more categories to check out. So nature staff, as noted above, under holy staff, base damage output when equipping healing staff has been reduced. So again, this is because of the corrupted meta, which I feel is not a good way to change weapons, but it is what it is. So what they're doing here is equipping any nature staff reduces all damage output by 50%. Again, just like the Grey Holies and all the rest of the Holies. However, if you have Thorns, now it increases the caster's damage by 10% for 10 seconds. I feel like that's actually a bigger nerf than a Holy, because the Smite didn't really have a decrease. Like, it had an increase of 50%, but this only has an increase of 10%. Interesting to see. Rampant staff, cast range at caster 12 meters. That's okay. Sick. Now cast direction can be selected independent from the cast position. That's pretty cool. I think that's a much needed change. That's actually really good to see. Heal base damage increase by 1.5. That's pretty good. That's pretty significant. So that's great to see. Now let's look around to the spears. Again, not so much going on here, except for a big damage nerf on their auto attacks. I think this is going to probably kill a lot of the spear players. It's 8% damage reduction in your auto attacks. So I'm thinking now you might want to look for spears that do higher damage on their ability rather than utilizing their attack speed. So that's a huge nerf to the spears. 8% damage reduction. That's insane. That's a lot. Next, let's look at swords. Some changes here, some good changes to some of the ZVZ weapons like Clarion Blade and Gallatin Pear. Gallatin Pear, a huge buff, which is it's going to come back to a lot of clappers now. You're going to see a lot of ZVZ montages coming up, so stay tuned for that because there's going to be lots of clappers with the Gallatin Pear. You're going to have people probably using Clarion Blade, although probably more Gallatin Pear, as well as the Weeping Repeater. Like it's going to be crazy, guys. So yeah, some more damage buffs in the swords. If we look at shoes, the Druid sandals have been out of meta for a while now. Slowing effect, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So what they've done is move speed increased by 30 to 45%. That is actually insane. Let me see if I can pull it up here for you guys. So if we look at, here's the shoes. Let's put the right spell on. From 30 to 45%, that is very significant, and this can come back definitely to 5v5 meta, crystals. You can definitely see this as a play. Like that is some speed. That is some speed with a slow. That is nice. I like that. I like the way that feels. That feels real good, guys. So again, another hot item to buy. That is some significant changes, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini video here. I just wanted to get it across to you guys before the launch. That way you guys can take advantage of some of the bargains that are going to be in the marketplace. Make sure you guys do buy some of these items ahead of time, maybe even the relics. That way you can save if you're going to craft. Not a lot of people know that it's going to launch tomorrow, so you guys get the extra advantage. So just a reminder, some of the changes are going to be with this curse staff, the life curse, the wildfire, the locust, a bit of a nerf on it. The Weeping Repeater is going to be huge. Galatines is going to be also massive. Heavy Mace is got a huge buff. Gallatin Pair, guys, amazing changes. And we'll see how the meta changes and unfolds. So it'll be exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick one, and I'll catch you guys in Albion on the next video and streams, boys. Catch you guys later. Peace.